What's going on, YouTubes? Time for recap. Happy Monday. So, as we get into the Discord, the first thing we started talking, we're a little bit late here today, 6:48 Central. We were talking about our VIX cluster gaps here. And if you watch a couple of these videos, I mentioned these weeks ago, where the volatility index had cluster gaps around $25, and the VIX had an opportunity to run up there and smack into those gaps before she headed down. And that's where one of the things we were looking for. And our Discord call right here, the 5-minute 200 SMA tag today on the QQQ or the SPY is the magnet I'm watching for. The setup. This is what we were talking about pre-market, just watching the setup here. We didn't have too many other scalp trades this morning. We talked a lot about the breakdowns. We finally caught a little ES scalp there on the downside. Decent PNLs today, $2,000 on the linked 5. And then we're looking at the bounce at open. So let's get into why we had that prediction, okay? So this one will be a little quick one because we're waiting for the Trumpster on the 2nd of April coming up here to hopefully clarify where this bounce is going, or at least help us out here a little bit. So let's get into it. Now, the main reason that we were at the 5-minute 200 SMA was obviously the last trade session here. The peach dashed line is the 200. Well, if you zoom in real close, you notice from pre-market to live, we didn't actually have any tags. Pre-market doesn't matter to the algorithms for first tag scenarios. So when you see that price action in the black right there open up for the live, generally, this is a miss. So it got stuck under that 100 EMA in the green and just legged down, which is fine. But when we look at moving average tags and magnets, we deserve tags later on. So you see me do this a lot with the 100 EMA. We actually did it the day prior. So I broke this down in one of our last YouTube videos. You can check on the confirmation of these indicators as we broke down right here on 331, right? Or 326, that was the wrong date. I don't know why I was showing that. 326, we cracked under these moving averages here. We snapped through the 200, through the 100, right? And then just ran away for the rest of the day. Well, I did this YouTube recap and we called the 100 EMA for the next day. So if you notice, we washed out. This is where I went backwards 100 some points, snapped it into this weekly and popped back up, and it needed to hit the 100 EMA because the price action shied it last day, right? So exactly the same as we do with moving averages here. We got the 100 EMA tag yesterday on the 5-minute, but no 200, and we shied the 200. So if you back up a little bit from that break 2 trade sessions ago, right here, price action snapped through the 200. Then the next day did not hit the 200, which left us with the third day today with a magnet to the 200. So that's why I said that in Discord this morning, where the opening morning wash scam could go down a little bit. Just wait for it to scam everybody out, wait for the base of support, and push to the 200 SMA 5-minute. So that's how we got that nice trade. But where was the bounce zone? Well, if you listen to this channel or listen to me blab, I don't know, about 20 videos in a row, we've been talking about the specialty 9/11 candle. We talked about it on 2 different live sessions. We talked about it on damn near 20 videos. So that's all your fault if you missed it. So the 9/11 we talked about shying, guys, a million times. Go back and watch these videos. The last time we were at the golden pocket of the high-low 9/11 candle, I told you it shied 549.49, and then it popped back up, and then we did the 3-up sequence. If it wanted to hold, it was over under the 200s. So again, that 200 SMA daily became resistance, right? We didn't hold the 10 SMA for the higher low. We went back up, and of course we said over under that gap in the doji. And again, just check our last couple videos. We explained exactly why we didn't bounce. We came down to finally tagging the GP, and look how clean the GP was, 547.66. That was a very big, long wait that we needed. So this is the 9/11 GP we said would cause a bounce for 20 videos. Go back and look at them. We finally hit it, and what do you know? It bounced up. Now, I was more focused on the moving average back test, just using our dailies right here, and I didn't even mention it. I assumed chat was on it. I was looking at this screen and I talked about it so many times. I forgot to even mention it live, but we hit the bounce point directly. We fibbed out this no tag GP that has association with the 50 fib, right? So the 5-minute high-low candle right here is what you see the fib on the intraday. Ran her all the way up, and now we're going for gap fill, which is going to be at the 3618 and that blue dashed line. So what's next? Well, We predicted this because of the algorithm magnet no tags. We predicted the 911 tag. So generally speaking, we can come back up to the 100 fib once we hit GP. So price action is going to be dedicated completely off the daily chart here. So again, the last time we broke into this 911, you can see that? Okay, good. We shied the GP. We're back inside that candle and we hit the GP. Now it is long biased outside of the 911 candle up to 55540. So once we come into the golden pocket, a lot of the times we can retrace to the 100. Okay. And again, this is just the 911 high-low Fibonacci. We finally got the GP target we were looking for to hit. So it comes up and has a chance to fill that gap today and come up to the 55540. That's it. I'm not going to give out too many other predictions because, well, we don't need to because the Trump's just coming out with April 2nd with the tariff stuff. So if Donald Trump comes on, and my guess, and this is just a guess, is going to be that Trump's threatening of tariffs gets backpedaled. I think all the things that he's talking about for 40% this, 25, 30, I think they're going to make a deal. And the tariffs aren't going to be as crazy as everybody thinks they are. We're going to get another bounce point here attempt at this lower low. Now, this lower low into the 911, it could sink a little bit more, and depending on tariff. Again, this is just a guess. If Donald Trump does not, go a little bit, we'll call it dovish on the tariff, a little nicer, and roll back those tariffs, or at least make something a little bit more bullish, saying, oh, just kidding, we're going to actually make a deal instead of tariffing you to death, well, then we'll get that bounce. If not, and we continue down, we still have the gap targets that we talked about in many videos as well. The next stop on the big drop would be 535.81. And if you caught our last live, let's go back to, the NQ was on there too. Well, if you caught our last live, I gave out two different targets, and we had 5350s along with 18,500 on NQ for ES. And that's where the futures definitely have definitive downside too. I was looking to hopefully dead cat bounce this a little higher into the 100, a little higher into some of these no tag GP dailies we keep talking about in order to get that short down into the 5,400, 5,300 area. 5,400 is obviously first. And we posted that on our last live session for the teaching on Saturday classes. So we're still going to look for those two short targets. We're still going to be looking for that downside. Now, last but not least, I just wanted to show you with that VIX cluster we were talking about earlier in the video, that the VIX had this massive gap up and then, of course, pushed right into the gap cluster, which we were expecting, but we didn't close it. Okay, so we got to go back pretty far. It's way more than 5 days away. I did it on the 30. You're not going to be able to see all the gaps on the 5 in here because we're on the 30, but just to get back here and not let Thinkorswim freak out with all the loading. There we go. We got a 30-minute gap right there in the top, and then of course there's 1, 2, 3 different 5-minute gaps. That's why we called that cluster. Okay. Now, the reason more downside could actually happen here too is because the clusters didn't actually fully fill. So that top cluster is still, or top of that cluster is still open at 2492. So this guy right here shied that last top piece right here of 2492, which is perfectly fine, but nothing goes in a straight line. So this big old snap up on the VIX could actually crank down for a little bit, let the market relief bounce maybe for a day or two like we are this morning, and then slam up again. Maybe that's the April 2nd catalyst. We'll have to see. I think Donald Trump's going to backpedal though myself, and I'm hoping the market gets a little bit better of a bounce. And if not, well, whatever. We have the gaps on the bottom, what we're going to look for in the futures, and we play this stuff intraday, day in, day out. So we'll come back with some later videos here, fib out your high low of yesterday's candle, start looking for the retracements on the prior GP, and that's it. Simple as that. So if you guys want to watch me do this stuff live, we have a link in the description. You can come trade with us in the Discord. If you guys want to just tune in for the free YouTubes, also appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk to you guys soon.